What's good, y'all? So I wasn't too sure what I wanted to make my video about today, so I ended up going to X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. If you don't follow me already, in the description right now, make sure you go follow me. And I asked my followers to drop some of their hot takes of this season so far, and I'm going to react to them in the video. And shout out to everyone that shows support on that tweet. You know, either it was a like or actually dropping your hot takes. I appreciate it a lot. I didn't get all of them included in this video, so maybe there's a part 2 if you guys like this. That's all more reason to go follow me on Twitter so you can be included in that part 2. But yeah, I'm gonna just go over some of their hot takes, you know, kind of break them down a little bit, see where they're coming from, see if I agree with it, and then, you know, in the comments down below, let me know what you guys agree with out of these hot takes as well. Let's get right on to the first one. And this first one comes from Super Mario Hoops saying the Indiana Pacers will win a playoff series this season. I assume this is coming from their great run in the in-season tournament, making it all the way to the finals, led by Tyrese Halliburton. They showed a lot of promise in those high-intensity playoff-esque games. I'm going to keep putting quotes around playoff-esque because they're above a regular season game. I would definitely say that. I do think, though, there's a pretty big difference between a single elimination, you know, tournament game and then a 7-game series in the NBA playoffs. But the way the Pacers are playing right now, they're sitting at the 5th seed as I'm recording this video. They look like they should be a playoff team, but will they win? Now, there are a few things that you need on your team if you want to be a successful playoff team and, you know, win playoff series and go on and make finals runs and all that. The number one thing on that list, though, is a superstar caliber player, a player that's capable of coming into a game and winning it by himself just off the sheer willpower and the skill that he contains. You know, so Tyrese Halliburton, I would say he falls into that category, being able to win a game, take over a game. We've seen him close out games against the Boston Celtics. That was incredible. But then beyond Tyrese, they also have some really good, high-quality role players surrounding him. They don't really have a number 2 for Halliburton, even though there's rumors that they're going to be active at the trade deadline. But right now, they just have a bunch of great role players surrounding him. Guys like Buddy Hield, who's one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA right now. Miles Turner, blocking shots, shooting threes as well. Aaron Nesmith, we've seen recently that he can be huge as an energy and defensive guy. Obi Toppin's having a career season. They have a bunch of different players on this roster that can, you know, elevate their play. And obviously their identity is offense. They have the number 1 offense in the NBA right now. They love to score. They can put up points with anyone. So that's going to help you in the playoffs. But also at that same time, the playoffs is notorious for slowing down to a halt your pace. There's not a lot of transition buckets. It's way more half court. You know, you got to get a bucket, work against the defense and stuff like that. And that would hurt the Pacers a decent amount considering they are the number 1 transition team. They love to get out and run in transition, whether it's off a make or off a miss. They love to just look ahead, throw the outlet pass, and get an easy 2 points like that. You got to think, too, in a 7-game series, teams are going to be scheming around their different weaknesses and strengths way more than just a regular season game, you know, so they're going to be honing in on stopping specifically those transition buckets like I just mentioned, and then in the half-court offense, you know, picking and prodding the littlest things to really stop it. And then also on the other side of the court, their biggest weakness is their defense, and teams are going to be scheming specifically to exploit their bad defense. If the playoffs were to start right now, they would be the 4-5 matchup going up against the Philadelphia 76ers. They do not have home court advantage. We've seen already in the few games that they played against the Sixers that they have very fun and entertaining games. But at that same time, in a playoff scenario where the game, like I just mentioned, is slowed down and everything, I would definitely trust the 76ers to pull out this 7-game series way more than the Pacers, and I think a lot of you would probably agree with me. Obviously, those standings are going to fluctuate, so they could also be up against the Milwaukee Bucks. I know they just eliminated the Milwaukee Bucks in the in-season tournament. I would still trust Dame and Giannis, though, over the Pacers. You know, their best bet would be the Orlando Magic, who right now sit at the 2 seed. So that would mean Orlando would have to fall a little bit, or, you know, Indiana would have to fall a little bit to match up. I think they have a best bet against a young, inexperienced team in Orlando like that. But at that same time, Orlando has their defense they can hold back on. I just think the Pacers' defense is going to hold them back a little bit too much, and I disagree with this hot take. This next hot take comes from my former roommate, Jimmy. Shout out to you, Jimmy. He said, Chet will have a better career than Wemby. Now, this is an interesting one. Definitely a little hotter than the last one. I assume this is coming from the fact that Chet is surprising a lot of people, including myself, on being such a high impactful rookie in year one, you know, being this amazing on both sides of the floor. It was surprising to me, and I'm sure it's surprising to a lot of you guys, especially with Wemby getting all the hype that he did get. But yeah, this one's a good one. Now, both of these players are very similar because they have such similar skill sets and everything. They both project to be two-way superstars, just incredible, top of the league on both sides of the floor. And the key thing when I'm looking at this hot take right here is he says that Chet will have a better career than Wemby. Not that he will be a better player than Wemby, but that he will just have a better career, you know, accolade-wise and all those things. And if we do want to talk accolades, I mean, right now, like I mentioned before, Chet is surprising the world while being the Rookie of the Year favorite over Victor Wembanyama right now. So that kind of gives him a tick right there. I guarantee both of these players will make multiple all-defensive teams and all-star teams and, you know, all-NBA teams. I'm sure of it that both of them will be doing all of that. So what it really comes down to for me is jewelry. Who's gonna win rings, who's gonna win finals MVPs, all of those things. And honestly, Chet has a very big benefit of playing with the OKC Thunder and playing alongside another all-NBA player like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You know, of course, J-Dub is there as well. Josh Giddey is there. They have a great young core right now that is showing nothing but growth. They look like they could be the next up-and-coming dynasty. If you ask, you know, different people, they have all the assets to even trade and consolidate and get even better. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I guess a little bit surprised me, but I could definitely see a future where the OKC Thunder are the next dynasty and they win, you know, 2 to 4 rings and Chet is on those teams and then he can maybe even win a finals MVP or 2 in there as well. And when you have that type of resume, I mean, that's very hard to really match. But in that same way, since Chet plays alongside a guy like Shai, who's another all-NBA player, it would be very difficult for him to win, you know, a MVP trophy or something like that. Wemby, on the other hand, he is going to be the guy down there in San Antonio for his entire career, unless he moves teams. But, you know, for while he's down there in San Antonio, he's going to be the clear-cut #1 guy. So it kind of opens up his avenue to win more MVPs and more individual accolades. And obviously, it's very, very difficult to project either of these guys' careers just 2 months into their actual NBA careers. But I can kind of see where this is coming from. I want to say I kind of agree because just on the fact alone that Chet is sitting in probably the best scenario for him in the entire league right now. He went to the one team that could benefit him the most, both personally and, again, as a team right now. And I could really see the Thunder going on and winning multiple chips right now with this group. So I'm going to say agree on this one. Now, this one is a little bit of a long one, so I'm going to have to read it off my phone so I don't mess anything up. This one comes from Finn. Shout out to you, Finn. The Kings won the Halliburton trade. They got Sabonis, who is a great fit for them, and he helped them become a top team in the West. Neither Halliburton or the Kings would be this good if Halliburton stayed in Sacramento. And then in parentheses at the bottom, he says, and Fox is better than Halliburton. First off, the Kings won the Halliburton trade. I'm going to say I disagree with this one because I really do think that it is very evenly matched. You know, obviously you could just look at strict what they gave up. You know, they gave up Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield for Sabonis. When you just look at that, I mean, I guess you could say they lost value in there. But like Finn said in this tweet as well, both teams would not be anywhere near the level that they would be at right now if they didn't make the trades. That goes for the players too. Sabonis would not be as good as he is right now playing alongside Miles Turner. We saw how iffy that looked. You know, he deserved to have his own team and be his own starting center. He would not look this good if he stayed in Indiana. Sabonis coming over there and bringing his playmaking really helps De'Aaron Fox, considering he is a score-first point guard. He can playmake as well, but he likes to get to the rim, get to the mid-range, and, you know, get some buckets. So Sabonis being in there, they play off against each other very well. And then also, he is their biggest interior force since DeMarcus Cousins. You know, they really were needing a center down low, and so him coming in and Sabonis being a great rebounder down there, a great post scorer in there as well. I've already mentioned the playmaking coming from the post as well. He is everything that they need right there. And the same thing goes for Tyrese, because if he was there playing, you know, back up to De'Aaron Fox or just the 2 guard next to De'Aaron Fox, he wouldn't be able to have the ball in his hands as much as he needs to be this productive. We've seen, you know, all the amazing things he could do with the ball in his hands. If he didn't have his own team like he does now with the Pacers, he wouldn't be like this. And then for the parentheses at the bottom where he says that De'Aaron Fox is better than Tyrese Halliburton, I gotta be honest, it is very, very, very close. I honestly think that they're like one player. They might be side by side next to each other if you really rank point guards. But when you ask me, if you look at it, last year De'Aaron Fox was an All-NBA team member. He was the clutch player of the year, first ever clutch player of the year. Just absolutely lights out when it comes to a game-winning shot or the fourth quarter closing out a game. And then also, biggest of all, in the playoffs against the Warriors, he stepped up big time. I know everyone knows Sabonis had a very rough playoff series against the Warriors, and Fox, he took all that burden, put it on his back, and just went absolutely crazy for the whole 7-game series. And that brings a lot of value to me. Right now, Tyrese, he is playing amazing. I'm not taking away anything from him. He's putting up just insane stat lines, super efficient, 15 assists, 0 turnover type games. That doesn't happen often. I don't want to take away anything from him. But at the same time, we haven't seen him in the playoffs. No fault to him. He's been on bad teams. But we haven't seen it like that. And also, we've only seen him be this good, this productive for this about 2-month span. Obviously, he's shown flashes in the past and everything, but being this consistently good every game in, game out, we've only seen for a short amount of time. So I want to see till that, the end of the season. Let's see how it goes in the playoffs, because I assume the Pacers will make it. In the playoffs, we'll see how it goes, see how he performs and everything. And then maybe we can have this conversation again. But for right now, it's definitely De'Aaron Fox over Tyrese. So I guess that means that I kind of agree with this. I do think that it's an even trade. I don't want to say the Kings won over the Pacers. But at the bottom where he says De'Aaron Fox is better than Tyrese, I'm going to say as of right now, I agree with that part. Let me know what you guys think about these hot takes. Let me know which one you agree with the most down in the comments. And if you guys like this video, make sure you leave it a like and let me know that you want a part 2. You can always tweet at me. The link is in the description to my Twitter. You can tweet at me your hot takes. You can leave them down in the comments down below for a potential part 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave it a like, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the description, there's links to all my social media, so make sure you follow me on all those to keep up to date with me. Catch ya.